The desert road shimmered under the midday sun, stretching endlessly through sand and scrub, as if daring anyone to cross it without permission. Heat rolled off the asphalt in visible waves, and the silence was so deep it felt intentional. When the military Humvee slowed and finally stopped, dust curling around its tires, no one imagined this quiet moment would ripple through an entire command structure. Staff Sergeant Luke Warren stepped down from the vehicle, boots hitting the ground with practiced certainty. His uniform was immaculate, gear secured tight against his vest, radio resting against his chest. The American flag patch on his shoulder caught the sunlight. He had spent over a decade learning how to read terrain, people, and danger, and something about this moment felt different. Standing beside the road was a young woman. She looked completely out of place and perfectly still at the same time. No military uniform, no visible identification. Just athletic shorts, a light top, sun, warmed skin and blonde hair tied back loosely, a few strands brushing her face in the desert wind. Her hands were behind her back, relaxed, not restrained. She wasn't pacing or protesting. She wasn't afraid. That was the first warning sign. This area is restricted. Warren said calmly, his voice firm but controlled. Civilians aren't authorized beyond the checkpoint. She nodded once. I know. No explanation followed. No panic. No excuses. Warren studied her face. Civilians who wandered out here usually reacted fast. Nervous laughter, frantic apologies, or outright fear. This woman showed none of it. Her eyes were steady, focused, almost curious, like she was watching him rather than the other way around. Then you understand why you're being detained, he said. Yes. The word landed heavier than expected. Behind him, another vehicle approached, slowing as it drew near. Two more soldiers dismounted, scanning the area instinctively. Procedures were followed, positions taken, but the tension didn't come from threat. It came from uncertainty. Warren removed his helmet briefly, wiping sweat from his brow, then replaced it. Name. She paused just long enough to be deliberate. Claire. Last name. That won't be necessary. Warren's jaw tightened slightly. Ma'am, this isn't optional. She met his gaze without flinching. Neither is what I'm doing here. The radio on Warren's chest crackled. Sergeant, command is asking for status. Warren pressed the button. Civilian detained, cooperative, no resistance. Copy, came the reply, followed by a brief pause. Stand by. Minutes passed. The desert seemed to close in, the silence stretching tight. Soldiers shifted their weight subtly, eyes flicking between Warren and the woman. Still, she didn't move, didn't speak, didn't show the smallest crack in her calm. Finally, the radio spoke again. Sergeant, command wants to speak to her. Warren blinked. Speak to who? The civilian. He looked at Claire, disbelief creeping into his expression. Slowly, he unhooked the radio and held it out. She took it. The change was instant, not dramatic, not theatrical, but undeniable. Her posture straightened, shoulders settling into a stance that wasn't learned from confidence classes, but from command rooms and responsibility. This is Claire, she said into the radio. Authorization code follows. She recited a sequence. Numbers, letters, pauses in exactly the right places. Not rushed, not rehearsed, certain. Silence answered. Then, sharp and immediate, confirmed. Warren felt his breath hitch. Yes, sir, he said instinctively, snapping to attention before his conscious mind caught up. Claire handed the radio back, as if returning something borrowed. A military truck came speeding down the road, dust billowing violently behind it. It stopped abruptly, and a senior officer stepped out, eyes locked on Claire. Without hesitation, he approached and came to attention. Ma'am, he said. Around them, every soldier straightened. No one spoke, no one questioned. Warren stood frozen, his world quietly rearranging itself. Claire finally turned to him. Staff Sergeant Warren, she said calmly. Your unit followed protocol under uncertainty. That matters, ma'am. He managed with respect. Who are you? She considered him for a moment. Someone tasked with making sure the people guarding our worst days are ready when they arrive. She gestured toward the desert, the vehicles, the soldiers. Today wasn't an accident, it was a test. Warren swallowed, and, did we pass? A faint smile touched her lips. You did. The wind picked up again, carrying dust across the road as the desert reclaimed its silence. Claire turned and walked away, unescorted, unhurried, leaving behind a lesson none of them would forget. The road shimmered once more, unchanged, yet never the same.